This is a legit stretch block number 12. Today we're going to work a lot of abduction, internal rotation, actually flexion of the hip. So you may or may not need this. If you need it, my recommendation would be get tougher and not use it. So we're going to open up with cars. Again, controlled articular rotations, working on neck all the way down to toe. Take you through step by step. We're going to do this for time instead of for reps. So you're thinking quality, not quantity. Get as many quality reps as you can in the quantity. All right, let's open up with neck. Find a good base position, feet hip width apart, nice, steady, strong position to move. Let's go ahead, bring that chin down towards your chest, rotate towards your left shoulder, drop the ear, circle all the way around, bringing that ear to the opposite shoulder, rotate, bring it back to the start. We're going to continue in that direction for 30 seconds, and then I'll let you guys know when to switch. Thinking about making that circle as big as you can, 1 mile per hour, trying to rotate through as much of a range of motion as you can. If you feel any pain when you get to that closing angle or that small angle side, just simply go through a little less range of motion. Once you get to the start, reverse directions. Now we're going the opposite direction, just going 1 mile per hour, trying to make that circle as big as you can through each rotation as you can. You might find you have a little bit more range or a little bit more fluidity with movement, one way versus the other. That's normal. We are naturally asymmetrical, meaning we have a difference from left to right. This is why we put so much emphasis on unilateral movements within our program. When you finish this rep, go ahead, relax. We're going to move it down the spine. Give yourself a little bear hug. We're going to bring our chest down towards the ground. We're going to rotate towards your left, drop your left shoulder, circle all the way around. When you get to the start, keep going in that same direction, 1 mile per hour. Try to make that circle as big as you possibly can. Circle all the way around. Remember, if you feel a pain in that closing angle side, aka the small side, that means we have a little bit of an impingement going on. We just want to take a little bit of range of motion off. If you feel a lot of pain, you may need to stop entirely. But as we're going through this, try to explore as much space as you can. Finish the rep that you're currently on. Let's reverse direction. Going 1 mile per hour. Try to make that circle as big as you possibly can. Locking in that joint above, which would be your neck, and that joint below, which would be your hip. Only thing moving is your entire spinal column from your tailbone to the bottom of your neck. And finish the rep that you're currently on, and we'll come back to the start. Now we're going to go arms out in front, closed fist, because we want to isolate that scapula. Now we're going to retract our shoulder blades back, elevate your shoulder blades up, push your shoulder blades forward, bring your shoulder blades down. If this is backwards, we're going to keep going backwards for 30 seconds. So this one direction, retract, elevate, protract, depress, and keep circling forward. Imaginary shelf our hands are sitting on, so our hands can go forward and back, but we want to avoid them going up and down. Finish the rep that you're currently on, get back to the start, now we'll reverse. Protract, elevate, retract, depress. Now we're moving a forward circle. Again, hands forward and back, not up and down. 1 mile per hour here. Take your time. Try to make that circle as big as you can. You'll notice you'll get a little fatigued in that mid and upper back. This just means that we're moving through a little bit more of a range or more focus than we normally do, which is all natural. As we go through this, you might find a crampy sensation. That just means we're entering ranges that we're not accustomed to, and your body's trying to find a way to either accommodate that range or maybe possibly get out of it. These are now potential that we're adding into it. So the more comfort we get at that range, the better we're going to be at that range. We're going to move on to shoulder. Let's go left side. Point your thumb pointed straight out. The first move is going to be up, across. Keep that thumb pointed out as long as you can. When you get to that ear, start to rotate that bicep in. That thumb will come forward. Then reach that arm behind. We're going to keep that rotation going till we get to that pocket. Now that thumb should be pointed behind us. Reverse that direction. You'll feel a block. Then we start to unrotate or unravel and just retrace our steps. We're going to do this one for 60 seconds. So we're going to keep going back and forth from forward to back to forward for 60 seconds, trying to accrue as many quality reps as we possibly can. Remember, we're looking for quality, not quantity here. 1 mile per hour, lock that rib cage in, thinking about creating as much of a circle as you possibly can. Excellent work. Keep it going. And let's finish this rep that we're currently on, and then we'll flip to the other side. Now we're going to go right side, thumb pointed out, bring it all the way to your ear, bring that arm all the way back, reverse direction, 1 mile per hour here. Thinking about tick-tocking forward and back to forward. As you get to those like sticky parts, the top of the shoulder, that extended position of the shoulder, or when the arm's pointed back, create as much tension throughout your body is the concept called irradiation, meaning that we're trying to create tension or stability to access more range in a particular joint. This is a really important concept to start to establish during cars, that concept of irradiation, to access more range and get more out of the actual exercise. Pails and rails, even breathing. The more we can focus on locking in certain joints, it's a concept called centration, of locking in a joint to create more stability and more output. Same concept with the radiation. Create more stability throughout your body, create this almost Valsalva type of mechanism. Let's finish this rep that we're currently on. We're going to move on to elbow. So thumbs pointed out. We're going to flex at the elbow. Get all the way up to your bicep, hitting your forearm. Rotate your thumbs inward. Come on back down. Reverse direction. We're going to just tick-tock back and forth in this pronated to supinated, aka holding soup, dumping the soup, for 3 reps here, not necessarily for time. Awesome. Once you finish with 3 reps, we'll bring your hands up to 90, or elbows up to 90 degrees, palm in a supinated position. Close your fist. Let's bring your fist down towards the ground, and we're going to make a clockwise circle for 3 reps. And then a counterclockwise circle for 3 reps. We're going to move into hip. If you need something stable, like a wall or even a chair, by all means, please grab one. We're going to work on hip, and the more balance and stability we have, the more range we'll have. We're going to do the same thing we did on hip as we did shoulder. So whatever leg, inside arm's going to be holding. Let's bring that knee all the way up towards your chest, as high as you can. Rotate that shin inward. Pull that knee out wide. Reach that heel behind, keeping your torso nice and tall. Circulating back and forth for 60 reps. This one's going to bring more attention to creating stability. So as I bring that knee out and I rotate that heel behind, that torso is going to want to dump the opposite way. That's creating space. And you'll notice that position when we get into our flexibility work, aka pails and rails. And this is trying to create space that my hip doesn't have. So I'm going to dump my torso away to give myself the perception of having space in that joint, where I'm literally just trying to find a way to compensate in that direction. So fight that now. Create this active range of motion as you're going through that hip. So knee up, rotate, bring that heel behind you, keeping that torso nice and tall and rigid, almost stoic, and then bring it around. Finish the rep that you're currently on, and we'll flip to the other side. Bring that knee up, rotate, heel behind you. Awesome. We're going to tick-tock back and forth here for 60 seconds, keeping your torso rigid, stance leg strong. Use that inside hand to give you more stability. Irradiate is that term. Create tension through your body so we can get more from that targeted joint action. Knee up, knee out, rotate, pull that heel back in. We're just going to tick-tock back and forth, 60 seconds here, thinking about getting as many quality reps as you can. That sticky part, create tension. Again, these high volume sets, these elongated sets, 60 seconds, you'll feel some kind of tension, some sort of crampy sensation, fight through. Okay, now we're going to go back down to knee. Same thing as elbow. We're going to do this for reps. Knee and elbow are same joint. Ankle and wrist are same joint. Hip and shoulder are same joint. So we're going to train them exact same from top to bottom. All right, so heel, hold in towards your hamstring. Rotate your knee out. So now where heel is pointed in and that toe is pointed out. Extend the knee. Pull that heel back in. Rotate that shin pointed in. So heel's pointed out. Extend. Back in. We're just going to tick-tock back and forth here for 3 reps. Once you're done with 3 here, we'll lock out the leg. We're going to lock out that knee because once we start to move that ankle, the more that knee is flexed, the more that shin can move or that tibia. That can alter the range of motion or perception, again, a compensation. So lock that knee out, create centration in that knee, point that toe towards your shin, heel in, toe in, make a circle clockwise for 3 reps. Feel all that tension and counterclockwise. Try to move through as full circle as possible. Perfect. Let's go to the other side. Pull that heel in, rotate that shin out. So toes pointed out, heels pointed in. Pull that heel back in, reverse. We're going to go 3 each way there. And then we'll go ahead and lock that leg out. Make a clockwise to counterclockwise circle. Perfect. Now, we're going to go on to toe here. So in toe, feet are going to be hip width apart. Thinking about all 5 toes are in contact with the ground. You should be able to feel the ground. This is the biggest proprioceptive organ we probably have that we're not using, meaning that the more I can feel the ground, the more I can use all 5 of my toes, the better strength from the foot up I'll have. So let's go ahead and increase the range, increase the stability, increase the function of your feet by learning how to re-educate them by moving them. All right, so let's go ahead. 5 toes are in contact with the ground. Pick your big toe up as high as you can and hold. So big toe is now elevated, 4 little toes are staying. Place that big toe back down on the ground. Let's repeat that again. Big toe back up and back down. Let's do one more. Big toe up and back down. Now, big toe is going to stay on the ground. Now we're going to lift our 4 little toes up. So big toe down, 4 little up, back down. Big toe down, 4 little up, back down. Big toe down, 4 little up. Great. Now let's lift all 5 toes up off the ground. So now my 5 digits are away from the ground. My whole heel and base of my foot is on the ground. Touch your big toe down. Back up, down, back up, down, back up. Now what we're going to do is spread our toes as wide as we can. And we're going to try to touch from our pinky toe down to our big toe, 1 toe at a time, like we're piano keying down. So pinky toe first, second, third, fourth, and then big toe. All 5 toes back up. Second, third, fourth, fifth, big toe, back down up. And then we're up again. Spread, pinky down to big toe. Awesome. We got one more drill. Let's get into an all 4s position. So our base position for quadruped, hands and knees. Not just hands and knees, but shoulders stacked over wrist, hips stacked over knees. From here, we're going to go through cat camel. Thinking 1 segment at a time. So pull your head up. So now I'm in cervical extension. Bring my chin down and then push my upper back towards the ceiling, trying to pull each one of my vertebrae up, 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 and then you'll get to your tailbone. Tailbone will dump behind and down. Now from here, start at the tailbone, and then one segment at a time, bring each one of your vertebrae close to the ground, get towards your neck, and then elevate that neck again. And then we're just going to snake back down. And then back up. Back down. And back up. Awesome. Now we're going to go into a second position. So we're going to bring our hips back towards our heels. So I'm in this now collapsed position. And what this is doing is taking this lumbar out of the equation, right? So now my lumbar is completely locked in. So now what I've done is create that centrated effect or that locked joint effect. And now I'm going to have to get more range from somewhere else, which will come from the upper back, aka the thoracic spine. So we're just going to go through the same movement. Start off with extended, bring that chin down. So now I'm flexed. One segment at a time, pushing my vertebrae up and back. Go till you feel a block, and then reverse direction. And we're just going to snake up and down, almost like a slinky going down the stairs. One vertebrae moving at a time, trying to create a smooth, gradual transition up and down. We'll go one more rep. And then we'll transition forward. Then we're going to get down to our elbows. So now we're going to block our upper back, and now we're going to focus on our lumbar. So extended, flex, push as much of your vertebrae as you can towards the sky, and now we'll get down to that tailbone. Reverse, all the way back up. 3 up, 3 down. Awesome. Okay, that is our car. All right, so we're going to work a lot of abduction, internal rotation, flexion. You're going to feel a lot of stress in this area. Bear position. Remember, yoga block would be someone that potentially isn't comfortable with being uncomfortable, right? That's not what this is all about. It's YouTube. You're by yourself. It's a no judgment zone. So make sure you judge yourself in being tougher and not grabbing the yoga block. All right, let's hit some bear position. All right, so bear, we want heels outside the knees pulled up towards the torso. Pull your torso forward, and then we're just going to let those knees drop out to the side like such. We're going to hold this here for 2 minutes. What we're working here is hip abductions. We're stretching the adductors. So adds to the body. So we're going to go away from that by abducting the hip. So you'll feel a lot of contraction in that glute when we get to that regressive angle or the angle closing the abduction to the floor. And then we'll feel a stretch in the adductors, the groin, the adductor mangus. A lot of times people forget just how much anatomy a strength and conditioning coach needs to know. Well, here's my reminder to you. We know a lot. About a minute in, minute to go. So Pails is going to be driving our knees together. So we're trying to close the knees, but we're going to block with our elbows. So as we ramp up, it's going to be this battle between pushing down and pulling up. You want to fight that by having your arms in a locked position. You're, in theory, should be stronger adduction than you are whatever you could do with your arms. So give a good fight and make sure you're giving yourself enough resistance, relatively speaking, to what your arms can hold. The rails will be pulling away from your hands towards the ground. So if I create separation from my knees, maybe or maybe not you'll be able to see that, but it's about a 1/4 inch away from my elbows. So as I pull away, then I get into that end range a little bit deeper than when I started, and I'm going to bring my elbows down to my knees as opposed to my knees back up to my elbows. And the theory would be is now I've overridden whatever my nervous system will allow me to get for range, and I'm going to get deeper into the stretch by pulling my elbows down towards my knees as opposed to the knees up to the elbows. Once we're done with that, we're going to hold that for another minute and we're going to do some passive range liftoffs, which I'll show you here in a second. Alrighty, guys, here we go. Breath in, pack it down. Start to drive your knees up into your elbows, 20% of your strength. 40%, 60%, 80%. Now your safest, greatest effort and hold for 10, 9. Remember, we're driving the knees up. 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2. Elbows stay. Pull your knees towards the ground. So we're getting deeper into abduction. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2. Bring your elbows down to wherever your knees are. Hopefully it's deeper than when you started. So we're going to hold here for another minute. So now we're in a deeper end range. The idea is to try to capitalize on this newfound space that we've created in that hip, create more plastic changes in that adductor and all the connective tissue. And we're going to follow that up with some passive range liftoffs to really accentuate this newfound range and stress the tissues. We're also warming up the outside, the regressive tissues, the glutes, the abductors of the hip. So as we start to progress through, we're going to get this wave of potentiating or activating it, followed up with fatigue, and then we'll have to fight for it. When we get to that fatigue state or we get closer to these end ranges or these really deep closing angles, okay, well, probably going to feel a crampy sensation, and that's going to be something we have to tolerate and get comfortable with. All right, so let's move slightly out of that position. So we're going to pull back up to when we started. From here, we're going to go the direction we went with our rails by pulling our knees towards the ground, holding that for a 5 count, bringing the knees back up, repeating for 9 more times for 10 total reps. Take a deep breath in, pack the air down, start to pull the knees down towards the ground. Hold that end range for 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and down. 5, 4, 3, 2, 2, down. 5, 4, 3, 2, 3, down. 5, 4, 3, 2, 4, down. 5, 4, 3, 2, 5, down. 5, 4, 3, 2, 6, down. 5, 4, 3, 2, 7, down. 5, 4, 3, 2, 8, down. 5, 4, 3, 2, 9, down. 5, 4, 3, 2, and now relax. So we're going to go into hip internal rotation. So we're going to dig our right heel into the ground, rotate that leg inward till you feel a block. So now we're trying to rotate from the knee to the hip in towards the midline or internal rotation. So that heel's wide, that knee is going in. You're going to pull that upper leg towards the midline. We're going to hold this here for 2 minutes, about 30 seconds in, so a minute and a half to go. We're going to follow this up with some pails and rails. So pails will be trying to externally rotate, so a progressive angle. So I'm going to try to drive out against the knee. Rails will be trying to further internal rotation. So I'll leave my hand where it's at, and I'll try to pull my knee by rotating my upper leg inward away from that hand. We'll hold each for 10 seconds. At the end of that final rails, 10-second hold, we're going to bring the hand to wherever the knee is. So we're going to try to get deeper into that range, increase whatever capacity I have for that hip to internally rotate, and then we'll build off of that by doing some passive range holds, slightly different than the passive range liftoffs. We'll show you what that looks like here in a second. Another 30 seconds, we'll get set up here for some pails and rails. So quick reminder, pails is driving out against the hand, rails is pulling away from the hand, holding each for a 10-second after we follow a ramp up. Then at the end of that 10-second rails, we'll hold for another minute in that deeper end range. Hopefully you guys are getting comfortable in this bear position. Both butt cheeks are glued to the ground. We want to rotate from the leg, not necessarily by rotating at the body. So your sternum, your belly button, your nose should be all pointing straight ahead. Let's take a deep breath in, pack the air down, start to drive that knee outward against the hand. We're externally rotating that upper leg or the femur, 20% of your strength. 40%, 60%, 80%. Now your safest, greatest, 100% for 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2. Now pull the leg inward towards the midline. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2. Bring the hand to wherever the knee is, and we'll hold here for another minute. So now we're at a deeper end range than when we started. So the idea now is to capitalize on this new end range by going to what we call a hold. So with the liftoff, we went from a less than end range towards end range. Now in a hold, we're going to stay in end range and we're going to release the hand that's holding us in here. So passively, my leg is in this position. I should have more potential than I started with. So the hand isn't necessarily forcing it. It's just basically holding it. But as I move the hand away, I'm going to contract all of the regressive tissues, the internal rotators, and then I'm going to keep that leg in place. And we'll hold that for 5 seconds for 10 reps, just like we did with the liftoffs. So as we get through this, it'll be pack, release the hand, hold that leg in place. If we can, try to pull further inward. If you do remove from the hand and pull inward, bring the hand to wherever the knee is, and then we'll hold that position going forward. Let's take a deep breath in, pack the air down, pull the hand away and hold in place for 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Pack, release, 5, 4, 3, 2, 2. Pack, release, 5, 4, 3, 2, 3. Release, 5, 4, 3, 2, 4. Release, 5, 4, 3, 2, 5. Release, 5, 4, 3, 2, 6. Release, 5, 4, 3, 2, 7. Release, 5, 4, 3, 2, 8. Release, 5, 4, 3, 2, 9. Release, 5, 4, 3, 2, and relax that leg. Left now, we'll dig that left heel into the ground. We'll rotate towards the midline, find that end range. Sternum, belly button, and nose all pointed straight ahead. Rotating that left femur or that upper leg between your knee and your hip in towards the midline. Take your hand, place on the outside of that leg. So now we can hold that passive range. We're going to have some more here in 2 minutes. So as we hold this position, try to relax your breath. Try to get comfortable in this position. Bear, we're about 9.5 minutes in. Told you this is going to be a long one. Don't fight that. Fight that urge to get that yoga block or put your back against the wall. Push through. This should be uncomfortable. This should be the best moment of your life if you're living a life of purpose and meaning, meaning that you're increasing your potential for range of motion. Another minute here. We're going to get into pails and rails again. So pails driving outward, rails pulling inward. At the end of that rails, bring the hand to wherever the knee is. And we'll hold that new end range for another minute. All right. So as we're going through this, you might find that one side's better than the other. You might find that one side is more fatigable, right? And when we get to these end ranges, we have to work really hard to hold these positions. And this is why it's such an important note to talk about why it's full range of motion and all of our exercise is that much more impactful. Because when we get to these end ranges, we have to work that much harder. And as we start to look at whatever effect we're trying to get from training, range of motion is a pretty good litmus and indicator of, okay, you are moving and healthy. And then the other part is we get more bang for our buck. We don't have to train as often. We don't have to train as much. We get more value from the time that we do train. All right, guys, let's take a deep breath in, pack the air down, start to drive that knee out towards the hand, 20%, 40%, 60%, 80%, safest, greatest, and hold for 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, and reverse by pulling that knee inward, 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, and we'll hold that hand outside the knee. We got another minute here, deeper into that end range than we started, hopefully. Once we're done with that, we'll get into those passive range holds. Remember, in the passive range holds, we are end range. We move the hand, hold that end range, and then we'll place the hand back on the outside of the knee and repeat for 9 times. Yep. So as we're working through hip abduction, hip internal rotation, hip flexion, you got to think, okay, my stamina in these positions is really just a matter of one, like building up your fitness, right? We get stronger the more we do this. So if you're struggling today, make it easier next time by getting back within maybe 3 to 7 days. Maybe doing it in between other training sessions. The other part is improving your overall fitness. The other part is, are you hydrated? Are you well slept? All these things have an impact. So if today's really hard, and if you're doing this multiple times, I apologize in advance. But the big news is, hey, what we do repeatedly, we get better at. So give it its best effort and make sure you're prepared for this just as much as you would be for a team or a strength class. All right, let's get ready for some passive range holds. Pack the air down, remove the hand and hold in place for 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Pack, release, 5, 4, 3, 2, 2. Pack, release, 5, 4, 3, 2, 3. Pack, release, 5, 4, 3, 2, 4. Pack, release, 5, 4, 3, 2, 5. Pack, release, 5, 4, 3, 2, 6. Pack, release, 5, 4, 3, 2, 7. Pack, release, 5, 4, 3, 2, 8. Pack, release, 5, 4, 3, 2, 9. One more. Pack, release, 5, 4, 3, 2, and relax. All right, so we're back in bear. Now we're going to work some iso movement paths. So we're going to take our leg from a bear position to a half straddle. So essentially, we're going to take it up, over, push it out, pull it back into that bear. When we go to that half straddle, we're going to set up by pulling our opposite leg into this half butterfly, half straddle position. So as we're transitioning, we have a better sit point. We'll have a little bit more balance, a little bit more stability because we'll just have more surface area in the ground. Because right now we don't have our upper legs. So now we're going to get pretty much a hole outside of our other leg for just some more balance and support. Let's take a break on our left leg. Let's pull that left heel in towards your midline. From here, the more upright or the forward you are, the more challenging that half straddle will be, especially in the iso movement path. If you need some kickstands here, completely fine. If you can do it without hands, also fine. You find where you're comfortable today. The more challenging is up to you on where you really want to go with it. So we're in half bear, half straddle, I should say, kind of a hybrid. We're going to take this right leg. We're going to lift it up and out into half straddle, pull it back. We're going to do 5.5 reps with a 5 count going out. We'll do the first one together on a normal cue basis. So find your balance. Let's take a deep breath in. Pick up that right heel as high as you can. Push that leg out as far as you can. Contract that quad. Parachute down. Now we're going to lift the toe, the knee up as high as we can. Rotate, pull that leg back, and then place the leg down. That's 1. We're going to do 4.5 more. Pack, lift, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. 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 Half rep, pack, lift, 5, 4, 3, 2, and relax. And now we're going to work tails and rails, hip flexion in a half straddle position. So I'm going to turn towards this leg, the right leg. I'm going to bring my torso down till I create a closing angle or a small angle between my belly button and that upper thigh. or that quad. We're going to hold here for another 2 minutes. You should feel a slight stretch in your hamstring right now, maybe a little bit in your adductor groin. Maybe there's a little bit of fatigue from the bear, from the internal rotation, all part of it. So we're going to hold here for another minute and a half, trying to relax into the position. Ideally, as we go further through this, we'll have a little bit more extensibility in the back part of my leg, my hamstring, my glute, maybe my gastroc, and then we'll be able to get deeper into things like RDLs, lateral squats, Cossack squats, etc. All right. So try to relax as much as you can here. This is, in my opinion, the easier of the positions we're going to get into. We got one more really, really hard position. You're going to feel a really big crampy sensation when you get to this rails of half straddle hip flexion. Because what that really does is tell you when we have a really shortened angle between my torso and my upper leg, that I get a lot of tension in that quad. And this kind of goes back to we get more bang for our buck when we train at end range, and we get a little bit more range of motion from the exercise we do. So imagine a split squat getting to parallel to the ground with the upper thigh, or hamstring down to the calf. Like, we're just going to get that much more value from the things that we're doing. So we got another 30 seconds here. Pails is driving down. So imagine you're kicking down, straight leg. So you're kicking down from the hip, not from the knee. And that makes a big difference. I'm pulling that leg into the ground. You'll feel that hamstring contract. You might feel that glute. From there, we're going to try to pull the torso towards pull my leg towards my torso. So the idea here is I'm not lifting my torso. I'm just trying to create a smaller angle between my torso and that upper leg by bringing that leg towards my torso. Let's take a deep breath in, pack the air down, start to drive that leg down, 20% of your strength. Now start to ramp up to 40, ramp up to 60, ramp up to 80. Safest, greatest effort here, and hold for 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, and reverse by lifting up 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, and parachute down. Try to get a little bit closer to that leg. Like I said, this one's a big crampy one, but I'll tell you this, it's probably not the harder of the two that we're going to do a full straddle position. So as we're sitting into this, if you're cramping, move out of there a little bit, but get ready because it's about to get a lot more challenging. Another 30 seconds here. We're going to go back to the iso movement path, switch legs, do iso movement path on the opposite side, pails and rails, come back to iso movement path, and we got one more position, full straddle. All right, so let's find a kickstand here. Deep breath in, pack the air down, lift that leg up, start to pull that knee in towards your torso, pull that knee in high, parachute down, reset, and then we'll lift the heel, push that leg away, straighten that leg, parachute down. That's one. Pack, lift, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. 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 Half rep, pack, lift, 5, 4, 3, 2, and relax. So now we'll switch. So we'll pull our left heel out, half bear. We'll get into this iso movement path now with your left side. Remember, find your kickstand, wherever you feel more comfortable with. Let's go with the opposite side. Let's lift that left heel up, straighten that leg out, push away, parachute down, and reset. Lift the entire leg up, pull that knee up towards your torso, parachute down, and then set back up for rep number 2. Pack, lift, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Pack, lift, 5, 4, 3, 2, 2. Pack, lift, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Pack, lift, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Pack, lift, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Pack, lift, 5, 4, 3, 2, 4. Pack, lift, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Pack, lift, 5, 4, 3, 2, and one more half rep. Pack, lift, 5, 4, 3, 2, and we'll set up now over this leg, half straddle, working hip flexion, bringing that torso towards our upper leg. So we're holding here for another 2, pails and rails, iso movement path, and then we'll finish off with what I think is the doozy of the day, straddle sit. Pails and rails, and get ready for it. We haven't done this yet, eccentric neural grooving. So we're getting the full gambit here. We're getting pails and rails, passive range liftoffs, passive range holds, iso movement paths, and then eccentric neural grooving. Not a more robust digital stretch offering on the market, bar none, right? And you get mental toughness, you get emotional and physical conditioning. The value is absurd right now. Keep holding that stretch. Pails is driving down to the ground. Rails is pulling away. We got another 30 seconds here. So try to relax as much as you can. We'll get set up here for pails and rails, iso movement paths, and then finish off strong with that full straddle. All right. Okay, so 15 seconds. Remember, we're moving from the hip, not from the knee. So as I drive down, hip to the heel. As I lift away, hip to the heel. All right, breath in, pack it down, start to drive that leg down 20%, 40%, 60%, 80%. Now let's get it. Safest, greatest, and whole for 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, and reverse by lifting that leg up 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2. Parachute down. See if you can get a little bit deeper into the stretch. If you felt a lot of crampy sensation, good. Means you care. Means you're doing a good job. If you didn't feel crampy sensation, it's not that you're not doing a good job. It's just that you could be doing a better job. Use that. Use it. Don't get mad at me for that. You have to pause and think, what the hell does that mean? You already know. All right, guys. Another 30 seconds here. We'll get ready for some iso movement paths, and then we'll do a half rep on both sides, get into a deep straddle position. That'll finish us our last position of the day, and then we'll move on to breathing after that. All right, guys. Find a kickstand wherever you feel comfortable with. Let's lift that left leg up, pull that heel in towards your body, get all the way to that knee towards your armpit, parachute down, and then we'll push that heel away, reach, 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 keeping the leg straight before you touch it down. Here we go. Rep number 2. Pack, lift, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. 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 Pack, lift, 5, 4, 3, 2. And now one more half rep. Pack, lift, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Now we're going to get both heels back into that bear. Let's go with our right heel. One great rep. Pick up, lift away, push it down. Let's go with that left leg. Pick up, lift away, and down. Now the idea here for full straddle is to be out as wide as you possibly can. And then we're going to bring our torso to the ground. Use your elbows as kind of a marker. So if you can bring your belly button to the ground, your sternum to the ground, and do a full what they call pancake, awesome. But the key is let's keep both toes pointed up. Let's keep both knees pushed down. And let's collapse forward towards our torso hitting the ground. So as I'm setting up here, I want to now relax into this position. Think about with each passing breath that my body collapses a little bit deeper into that position. Now you'll notice that we have a lot less strength in this position. We are at a now bilateral abducted and hip flex position. We don't really have a sit point because when we start to move, you'll realize that the kind of the surface area that's going to stay in contact with the ground is at a pretty significantly mechanically disadvantaged position. So as we start to move into this rails direction, which you'll know here in a second, you're going to find it's really challenging. And what my cue to you would be in that situation is contract the regressive tissues, your quad, your hip flexors. And what that's going to do is give us intent. And this is the other secret behind training through a full range of motion is having control, aka intent, at end range. So if I get down on a split squat or an RDL and I can control it, not only going through a full range of motion, I can create more tension just through pure intent and trying to control the movement. And I get more value from that exercise. So as we're going through these pails and rails and these mechanically weak positions, think, how is this going to apply to a movement where I am in through a full range of motion where I need to create more tension? Just gives you that much more ability to do some of the exercises we have with more weight or more precision, and we get more value from it. So pails is going to be driving both legs simultaneously down to the ground. So imagine both legs are doing that into the ground. Rails is doing the opposite. So I'm trying to pull both legs up. You're not going to be able to move. If you can move, you're not at end range. Get deeper into end range. So as I start to lift both legs up, just focus on contracting your quads, pulling your toes towards your shins, and trying to lift towards the ceiling. You're not going to move, but try to pull as hard as you can like you were. Let's take a deep breath in, pack the air down, drive both legs down into the ground, 20%, 40%, 60%, 80%, your safest, greatest, and hold for 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, and reverse by contracting your quads, lifting both legs up, 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, and down. See if you can get deeper into the range. See if you can touch your elbows to the ground. If you're already at your elbows, see if you can get some of the back of your triceps towards the ground. If you're already at the back of your triceps, try to collapse by bringing your total body towards the ground. All right, so if you can get full contact with the ground, awesome. That's what we're looking for. More range in this straddle position, the better. So we're holding here for another minute, and then we're going to get into eccentric neural grooving. So difference between passive range liftoff. So we're coming from not a passive end range to a passive range. Passive hold is I'm staying in that end range and I'm releasing the thing holding me passively. Now an iso movement path is taking a transition of bear to a straddle and trying to create tension with the opposite leg in an isometric position. The final one is eccentric neural grooving. So what we're thinking about is the progressive tissues are going to be lengthened on this one. So the hamstrings and then maybe the rector spinae, the part of your back that resists this flexion. So as we're looking through this, I'm going to try to push both legs simultaneously in the ground. And what that does is push my legs into a progressive, trying to push in a progressive angle, activating my hamstrings. And then I'm going to eccentrically lengthen those progressive tissues by going from here down into a hinge or like a RDL with just a fixed sit point of my hips. So it's driving both legs down and then pulling my body down, which is going to lengthen all of the progressive tissues that I'm now trying to contract. And you might feel some different tension from the more distal, the medial, the proximal. And hopefully between this overcoming and this lengthening or this yielding, we're going to get the full bandwidth of the tissues that we've been stretching or strengthening the whole way through. All right, so let's get postured up. It's going to be 5-10 seconds eccentric neural groovings, and this will be it for the day. We'll finish off with some breathing. So let's go ahead, take a deep breath in, pack the air down, start to drive both heels down to the ground. From here, cross your body. We'll start lowering down while we're simultaneously still driving both heels down to the ground. So I'm moving down. We're 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, still pushing down, 2, and 1, reset. So pack the air down, drive both heels down. We're doing it for the entirety of the 10 seconds and lowering our torso. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 2. Great work. We're going to go 3 more. Pack, drive both legs down, actively driving, pulling ourselves into that bottom position. 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Pack down. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. We're going to do 1 more. Pack down. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Before I let you go over to breathing, do a quick test retest. See how much further you can get towards the ground. If you made any changes, great. If not, keep at it, right? Like maybe you're just fatigued. Maybe you have a lot of soreness. Maybe you have a lot of something going on from a nervous system perspective. All good. If any of these things hurt in any way, please pull back on the throttle in terms of your pails or your rails, reduce your range, or just flat out just skip to the next part and get to the things you can do today. Thank you, guys. Let's get to breathing. Okay, so let's finish off with some breathing. We're going to go 3 positions to choose from. And the reason behind each position, it formats a different way for your body in space. So if my body is facing down, if my body is facing up, it's a different gravitational effect on that thorax, right? So if I'm pointing straight up and we have this negative pressure pulling air into our lungs from the diaphragm contracting, it's different when my torso is pointed down or an inverted position. Now we don't have negative pressure, we have the effect of gravity. So in a sense, I have to contract to inhale. We reverse it. We have to contract to exhale when we're inverted. And that goes into why we want to focus on inhale versus exhale, right? So in regards to the positions, if you really struggled with internal rotation, this one, if I was cramping a lot, I felt like I had nothing, you want to be inverted. And what that does is gets a little bit more of a bias towards exhalation or that breathing out. And the position we want to do with that is going to be an inverted position. We want hips stacked over knees, just like we did in the CARS multi-segmental spine. So hips stacked over knees, elbows on the ground. Now, the more I'm elevated in my knees, the more inverted I am. So we can grab a yoga block, we can place that underneath our knees just like such, we can get more inverted. We can use books, we can use towels, if you have balance pads, do that. But the more inverted you are, the more effect you have on challenging exhalation. So if you really struggled with that internal rotation of the hip, you want to focus on a exhale bias strategy, aka inversion. The second position, well, and I know this probably feels a little counterintuitive, but stick with me, is if you struggle with the external rotation with the legs in front, will be that crocodile position, just like we did in our prone shoulder external rotation. So I'm here. And what this is, instead, I know it feels like we're inverted still, but what this is instead is now I give myself some sort of resistance when I inhale. So exhalation for internal rotation, inhalation for external rotation limitation. So now I'm going to bias inhalation or breathing in because I'm giving myself resistance. So as I breathe in through the nose, I'm going to have to push my body away and I have to contract. I have to contract that diaphragm and I have to really pull that air in because I have some body weight resistance as I'm pushing it in. So crocodile if you struggle with external rotation. Now the final one would be a 90-90 with a internal rotation on the left side bias, and I'll show you what that looks like in a second. Where you want to focus on that, if you didn't really struggle with internal external rotation, but you might have felt the left side was a lot more restricted than the right side, specifically internal rotation wise, that's when you want to go a 90-90 internal rotation left side bias position. So what that will look like is I'm going to get a chair or a wall and set up with a 90-90 breathing position. I know that probably seemed confusing because we did 90-90 for our position to stretch. But the truth is it's the same 90-90 degree, 90 degree, 90 degree, just kind of a different angle, I guess. So from here, my heels are resting on a chair. I am now relaxed in this position. I want to pull my knees there. If you have a towel or yoga block, we're going to squeeze that between our knees. Remember we talked about abduction? So same thing, adduction now. And then I'm going to try to pull my left heel out and then point my right knee straight back. From here, I'm going to pull my heels down onto the chair or the wall. And what that's going to do is activate my hamstrings and then get my pelvis from this anterior to more posterior position. And what that will do is bias that internal rotation on the left side, and it's going to challenge the diaphragm to breathe against that, like what we call left AIC position. Now, torso matters quite a bit here. Remember, the lungs are different sizes from left to right. The heart's on the left side, the liver's on the right side. So what I'll do is as I'm driving my left heel out, squeezing this yoga block between my knees, I'm going to take my left hand, place it on my ribs, and take my right hand, place it overhead. If you feel more comfortable just going inverted or crocodile, completely fine. But if you felt like, hey, I had a massive limitation on that left side during that hip internal rotation, that 90-90 position with the leg back, I really strongly suggest you go to that 90-90 position. Now, what we're going to do from here is pause, maybe play around with each one of those positions, and then figure out which one you're going to go from there. So if you need to stop right now, please do. Now we're going to go into the actual breathing cadence. So whatever position you are, we're going to go inverted, crocodile, or 90-90. We're going to go into this 4-4-4-8 or 4-4-8 fork tempo. So breathe in for 4, we'll hold for 4, we'll breathe out for 8, we'll breathe in for, we'll hold out for 8. So I'll say 4-3-2-1, 4-3-2-1, 8-7-6-5, 4-3-2-1, 4-3-2-1, and we'll repeat. So we're going to find that position, and we're going to go through 10 cycles of that 4-4-8-4 tempo. All right, so whatever one you want to get into, let's go ahead and get into that now. So if I'm in a crocodile position, if I'm in an inverted position, or if I'm into this 90-90 position, let's go ahead and do so now. Get a couple breaths in that position just to kind of get comfortable. Remember, we're always going to breathe in through the nose. We're going to breathe out through the mouth. No matter what position we're in, whether it's inhale or exhale bias, it's still going to be controlled full air in through the nose, controlled pushing the air out exhalation. The imaginary breathing in through a straw is going to be kind of the metaphor we'll stick with. And we're going to do that for 10 repetitions, and I'll guide you through each one. All right, so let's get that position. We're now getting a couple breaths in. Let's start to get into this direction. So everyone breathe out. Now we're going to breathe in through the nose for 4, 3, 2, 1. Hold that air in for 4, 3, 2, 1. Push the air out through the mouth for 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Hold that air out for 4, 3, 2, 1. Repeat. Pull air in. 4, 3, 2, 1. Hold for 4, 3, 2, 1, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Hold the air out for 4, 3, 2, 1. And repeat 4, 3, 2, 1. 4, 3, 2, 1. 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. 4, 3, 2, 1. 4, 3, 2, 1. 4, 3, 2, 1. 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. 4, 3, 2, 1. 4, 3, 2, 1. 4, 3, 2, 1. 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. 4, 3, 2, 1. Now continue on for 5 more cycles. Thinking about filling in as much of that air in. Keep breathing. So we should be now moving into that hold, that exhale. If you're getting to that inverted position, exhale will get progressively harder and harder. You'll start to maybe get a little bit of lightheaded. Control that breath. If you need to take a break, take a pause, get out of that position for a second. Do so. Try not to make yourself to the point of passing out. If you're in that crocodile position, you're going to really struggle potentially getting into that inhale or that breathing in. If you're in that 90-90 position, you'll find that left leg's going to want to move out of that position. You'll find you'll start to squirm. You'll start to contort. It'll be hard to pull down on your heels. It'll be harder to squeeze that yoga block towel or book. It'll just be harder, right? So that's the goal, is to try to maintain that tempo. 4, 3, 2, 1. 4, 3, 2, 1. 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. 4, 3, 2, 1. It's a great tempo to keep on your own. So if you ever need 5 breaths in a good position, anytime you need to do that, we'll get a huge amount of benefit. Getting 5 cycles of that, 3 cycles of that. All right, so we should just be wrapping up that final inhalation or that final exhalation, and we can slowly move from that position. All right, so that concludes our breathing. Really good strategy to help finish off. If you ever need to do that post-session, great aspect of getting a really good targeted effect. All right, we'll break here, and that concludes Stretch for today.